Well, hello, Normie.
Hello. I started this as season 3, and episode 1 is called Supernormal.
Really?
It's really funny. Like after we had this conversation, I realized about 10 years ago, I actually wrote this screenplay called Supernormal about a guy who was dating a superhero. She was like the female equivalent of Superman, and damsel in distress. Like the supervillain, like knew who he was, knew he was dating this girl, and so like he was the one constantly getting like kidnapped and like having to be saved by the Supergirl friend, and just like him feeling like this is like the shittiest thing ever. Like I'm not even able to rescue anybody. I'm the one constantly being like needing to be rescued. It's like and just like being super resentful of like the fact that he's normal and doesn't ever get to like play the hero role.
Okay, I have a question for you. Did you write my super ex-girlfriend? Because that sounds pretty much exactly the same.
I think I wrote it probably after that came out. It was probably somehow like unconsciously influenced by that idea. But yeah, I remember that movie, and it's trying to remember. That was the one with Jason Bateman and Charlize Theron, right? Or oh no, I mean Uma Thurman, I think, was in it.
Yeah, but I don't think it was Jason Bateman. I think it was
Jason Bateman was in the one with Charlize Theron and Will Smith. That was Hancock.
No, my super ex-girlfriend is Uma Thurman and hold on.
Owen Wilson.
Luke Wilson, I think. Yeah.
Luke Wilson.
That's Owen Wilson's brother.
Uh-huh.
I had his first name. Like, what's his last name again?
I should rewatch that. Like, I feel like I didn't pay much attention to it when I watched it, but I'd be interested to see it. I cannot remember the story that I wrote. Like, I remember that I wrote it, and I actually wrote it like in a round table with like some friends. We kind of like workshopped the idea together. And then I sat down and wrote the screenplay because we were thinking about like trying to make it. And it was like, it was really lame, but it was kind of funny. It was sort of like an Office type, like very low key, sort of like mediocre life cringe humor type stuff. But I don't remember.
A hero for normal people?
Yeah, pretty much. But I don't remember like the details of like what was it that I spent time on it. I'm like, I can't even remember it all. I need to go through my hard drives and see and find all my writing projects.
That's kind of funny though.
Yeah. Oh, also bizarre. Sarah had a dream about me last night. She doesn't dream about me that much, but like once in a while she'll tell me a dream that she has. Like, this was a really weird dream. She told me last night she had a really weird dream about me that was about me like deciding to be normal and getting a regular job. She's like, you had like these earrings that you used to wear, and I was like so surprised you used to wear earrings, but then I was like, why don't you wear them anymore? And I'm like, well, it wasn't professional. And so I just like, apparently in her dream, like I had just resigned to becoming like a normal person, and I was like, that is so weird. Like I hadn't told her anything about what we had talked about, but she was like super keyed into the energy that I was in yesterday.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. It was really amazing.
And I don't know if you listened to the voice messages, the 2 last ones I sent yesterday. but
I did. I can't remember exactly, but like I remember you said that you were kind of like maybe feeling at peace, and I felt very much the same. Like I just over the last 24 hours, I feel like there's something about just like, I don't need to try. I just need to live whatever life I have. If I'm gonna aim for something, aim for it. If I'm not, it's like just do what's in front of me. But like just live, have a normal life, and like that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's like for so long I've been running from that because I'm afraid of like, I don't know. I was telling Sarah on some level I almost would rather die or try something with everybody watching me and like become a failure, like just blow myself up to smithereens. Like I'd rather that than be normal.
and it's insane when we think about it. We're like, we prefer spending our entire life failing over and over and over again than being normal. Yet the second we decide, "All right, let's just be normal," it's like,
Yeah, peaceful. You get more done. Like you make everybody else around you like stop worrying about you. It just I don't know why it's like for whatever reason it's sort of like it's kind of like having like a parasite or a virus of like that constantly makes you want to like jump off a cliff. And it's like, why don't you just like not do that? You're like, well, I can't help it. I know it's stupid, but like I can't help it. But now it's like, have you ever watched videos of people pulling like bot fly larva out of like a wound?
No, but I've seen similar things, so I know what you're talking about.
That's kind of what I feel. That's a little bit like how I feel right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just pulled this like nasty thing out of me. I'm like, on some level, I'm like, it's okay to be me. It's like it's really like okay to be me.
Yeah, to me, it's like I'm finally starting to understand why my friends react the way they do when I say like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this insane challenge." They're like, "Dude, why? You could die." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I'm willing to risk my life if it means I get to experience this." And it's like, I don't think I'm gonna change because I still enjoy doing those types of challenges, but I think it's gonna be less about normal life is going to seem easier as a result, but it's just by doing that I can enjoy normal life even more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think on some level that's what it's kind of giving me is I'm realizing like, okay, so I realized I spent like 2 of the 7 years that I've been married to Sarah like unemployed. It's like that's a lot of time in a partnership where you're like, oh, this is gonna be 50-50. Just be like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do anything. it's like seeing it from her side, it's like that sucks. And but I'm just realizing like the idea of just having a normal job instead of it being something that I'm like, this is such a like a drag or like this is like a burden or it's keeping me from being who I am. I'm like, no, like I know what the alternative is. I can compare it to like not having something because you're not willing to just be normal. It's like it's actually like its own version of hell. And it's like I can have a job and not just like hype myself up or get into this mindset of like what is it about this thing that I'm grateful for. It's like no, the whole experience of like just being a normal person with a normal job. It's like I know what it's like to not have a job. And it's something that I can truly actually like be grateful for just at a fundamental level. Instead of feeling like I'm tricking myself into like staying in it.
I just realized we're like those, or we used to be like those homeless people who are like, I'm homeless because I refuse to be a part of society.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what kind of baloney are you selling yourself, dude?
So I guess like we're like those people, except we're too good at surviving, so we never get to that.
Yeah,
But we're
exactly.
exactly like those people.
Yeah, I feel like 60-year-old me would be that homeless guy. Be like, you're articulate, you're not on drugs. Like, why are you homeless? Like, I'm too good for being a regular person. It's like, okay, you have a problem.
It's funny too, because my best friend's dad from back home, like he is homeless.
Mm,
Like he's pretty much that guy. It's like I have a real world example of what it could be.
mhm.
And it's like you look at those kinds of homeless people and you're like, you can't feel bad for them because it's not like they have a disability or it's not like they have a mental like issue. It's literally like, nah, I'm choosing this. Like I'm still
Yeah.
asking for money, expecting you to give it, but I'm choosing this.
Uh-huh.
Man, we're idiots.
We are idiots. And you know what? On some level, it's like I I can laugh about it, and I can like I can love that part of myself and kind of forgive myself. But it's sort of like I need to accept that that is like part of my experience. Like I'm an idiot. I need to plan for that. I have to like start putting things in my life that will make it easier for me to not exist as the idiot that I am. Because otherwise it just like it's sort of like what if you were a regular person and there was like this bottle of uh stupid pills that you could take every morning. And it's like, okay, I know if I take this, I'm gonna be dependent on everybody. It's gonna make everybody mad at me. It's like, I know I don't want to do that, but it's like, but I'm just gonna do it again. It's like, and like every day. And I feel like that's what it's like for me. It's sort of like I have some sort of awareness of like there are areas of my life where I'm just like I I just need to acknowledge like this is part of like where my default state is. Just I'm too smart for my own good so much that it makes me dumb, and I make really poor choices. And like I need to figure out how do I plug the hole in that bucket so that I could just make normal people decisions and like be good at being normal.
What you were saying before of like, I can laugh at myself. I'm like, yeah, but it's more like not a normal laughter. It's one of those kind of laughter.
Yeah. It's like I'm laughing on the outside, but I'm really crying on the inside. And
But
yeah.
I think that's the thing. What you just said, like you're too smart for your own good. So it's kind of like we're not dumb enough, or not dumb, but it's just like uncreative enough to just be stuck in normal life and kind of like endure it.
Mhm.
But we're smart enough to be like, okay, that is not the answer. But we're not smart enough to figure out what the answer is. We're just smart enough to see like this is not the answer. So let's
Yeah.
just do the opposite of that. And then we're like, ooh, spirite.
I feel like on some level, my what I recognized from our conversation, like about it stemming from the fear of like non-existence, like I realized so much of my problem is that I just don't trust people. I don't trust. I mean, I don't trust myself. I don't trust ideas. I don't trust anything. It's like feel like I have to be in control and be the smart one and figure it all out. Um, because I just am not willing to do, do what other people have figured out works. Like for the vast majority of people, it's like go to work, have a job, have something that takes care of the things that you need to exist. It's like you got to do that. Everybody's got to do that. And I'm like, yeah, but what if I didn't have to do that? I'm not I guess all of that comes from like a unwillingness to trust that other people have already figured out that no, this is actually one of the best things that you could do.
I think I just figured it out. Because we're like, all right, we have to be normal, but not the normal kind of normal. So I think what we need to do, and it once again comes back to networking, is we need to surround ourselves with people who are successful, who are at a higher level than us, so that in order to become normal, we have to level ourselves up. Like that is the kind of normal that we need. We don't need to settle for normal. We need to level up to be normal. I think that is the power of networking, because if you network and surround yourself with people who are more successful, who are richer, who are more of the things you want to be, then in order to be normal and not feel like the weird one, you got to level up. So we got to stop hanging out. Nice knowing you.
Yeah, I think you're right. On some level, it's like the people that we're attracted to and that we resonate with are like us. It's the weirdos that like haven't figured it out yet. They're like, oh, like we believe in ourselves, we can do it. And it's like, but nobody's actually figuring anything out. We're just like making ourselves feel better about how, what a stupid place we are. And like if you measure it by any sort of normal standard, it's like you don't really have it all together. And so it's like just like be willing to admit that to yourself and then start figuring out, so what do I need to do to change this? And it's not jump to like level 10x like super entrepreneur. It's like it doesn't work that way. It's like you do one step at a time and just consistently.
But the thing is, maybe you can jump. Like, I'm not saying that should be your only like solution, but why limit ourselves? Because
well, yeah, and I do think there's a I don't need to figure it out in the abstract, but like, yeah, I do think
just like giving an example,
right.
like one of the 2 Comma Club Award winners that I reached out to, and like I sent him a message just saying like, hey, I saw your post in like the ClickFunnels group, like congratulations on winning the award, that's awesome. And then like I posted a comment on one of his messages, like his posts on his profile, and we just like responded back and forth a few times, and then he like sent me a private message. And in his first message, like he sent a few, but one of the first ones is like, hey, we should like, hop on a call sometime, see if we can collaborate on anything. And he's like, he's a 2 Comma Club Award winner. I'm a nobody. So it's like, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying it's a possibility. So why would I limit myself?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the thing is like, when you start acknowledging like, yeah, I'm a nobody, instead of trying to, I don't know, stand out or feel special or whatever. It's like owning that and having that confidence of like, yeah, like, I mean, I've done some stuff. I've done some cool things that are unique that other people haven't done, but it's like, I'm a normal person. Like, I'm not trying to prove that I'm not, you know, anything special. It's like that level of like honesty, I think just creates a certain level of
It's like I'm a
regular
nobody, but
people.
it's like I'm a nobody, but I wrote 7 books and I've been read by millions and millions of people. But it's okay, I'm nobody.
I think that's what I was seeing is um there's always interesting things about they're always there like to be discovered, but it's like the people who are good at marketing like line those things up in a row so it creates gravity for you to like dig deeper and find out, well, what is it about them that I don't know about life? It's like it's just one aspect and facet of something about the world, something about them and their life that maybe it's useful to you or maybe it's not.
I just realized the way we can describe ourselves is I have all these amazing skills and amazing accomplishments that would make someone very successful. I'm just too much of an idiot to have actually succeeded as a result of that.
I love that actually. And I feel like that describes me pretty well.
And it's funny too, because like that other guy I just told you about, it's like, all right, he's a 2 Comma Club award winner, so he has like successful business. I don't know how many millions he's made.
Mhm.
And like a while, like, I don't know, maybe last week, something like that, he's like, oh, well, we just had a product launch and we made $32,000 in one day from the launch. So it's like he's on that level, and he's been traveling the world for 4 years. So it's like he's basically the successful version of me. So I'm like, it's possible. It's definitely possible.
Yeah. Dang.
I mean, he's the successful Black version of me. Not that it makes a difference, but maybe it's that
Well,
that factor that makes the entire difference. It's like I'm
yeah,
white, just average. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not special enough.
I mean, maybe you just need to be black. That's the only missing ingredient. It's like David Goggins is black. This guy's black. It would make you way cooler.
To be fair, I wanted to be black when I was young, because like, I was homeschooled. I didn't realize that like there was this stigma and stereotype, and like I didn't realize racism until I started high school, and that's when I kind of became aware of it. Until that point, I'm like, Black people just seem so much cooler than white people.
Right? I think when I was young, I was like, I just had like this fascination with, I guess the novelty of like how other people had like, it just seemed so different or set like they were. I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say here. But it's like you can, even as a kid, like you can recognize like other ethnic groups, like and start to group people in different ways, and you're like, but like as a kid, like before you like have any sort of prejudice or like you're colored by like all of the like general perceptions. It's just like it's interesting to you. It's cool. Like, how come they look different, or how come they like have a different skin color, or like you'll notice like the patterns of like certain people are built like a certain way, different things like that. And it's like it makes you curious about other people, and then you get all the layers of like all the stuff that society thinks, and then it just kind of becomes a weird muddled mess.
I think that's the difference between white people and like other races. So it's like Black people, they're like, they're athletic and like they have that sense of rhythm and everything. And it's like Asian people, they're like very, disciplined, and they have that whole like, stereotypical kung fu thing. It's like all the races have something cool and unique about them. White people are just like average, boring, normal people. Maybe it's just time to accept we're white.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like I don't know what you would like what other people would, how they would describe white people or categorize, like, so if you had to say like, yeah, I think like what you just said, that like some of those generalizations are pretty spot on. I feel like black people on some level have a deeper connection to like movement and action. Like they embody the physicalness of their bodies better than other like ethnicities. I feel like white people are in some ways very disconnected from their physical experience. Like we're good at the intellectual side of things. I mean, so much of like where the world has moved in terms of ideas came from like Western.
I just feel like white people are disconnected from everything. Just like, black people are like very good at physical things. Asian people, it's like they're very spiritual and like connected and structured. It's like they have that whole thing. It's like, let's say Indian, it's more like, spiritual, and they have that whole, like that entire culture. Latin is like, a sense of rhythm and music and everything. It's like white people are just boring. When you compare white to all the other races, white is just kind of like that default, basic, nameless, normal, like, it's the one race that you need to have in order to compare all the other ones and make all the other ones look good.
Yeah, actually that's true. It's like when we describe white people as vanilla, like that's a really good definition. It's like this is the bar zero that you like. This is the, like, nothing special, nothing interesting, and then like everything else from that becomes like, oh well, here's where the deviation is. That makes it fascinating. This is the thing that's interesting about this other thing.
Should we rename the show to Two White Guys?
That'd be funny. I wonder if there's a show called that.
I mean, there's white chicks, so why not white guys? But I feel like that ties into the whole, like, we've been fighting against being normal, and it's like it's all tied together. Like the fact that, we're basically the default of everything. We're white, we're guys, we're like straight. We have like all these characteristics that just make us like, this is the baseline.
Yeah.
Been trying to fight against that. We're like, no, we can be this, we can be that. And it's like, no, you're not.
No,
you're just a boring white guy.
Yeah. No super like dramatic or traumatic backstory. Like a minimal basic amount of privilege, and we've done nothing with any of it.
That's the thing. It's like, like I always look at people like, David Goggins, and it's like all his upbringing of like, he was black and he was like struggling in school, and it's like, all this racism and this violence, and it's like such a traumatic childhood. And it's like, that's what allowed him to be like, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna overcome it. And it's like, I always looked at people like that, and I was like, I always had a good normal childhood. It's like everything about me is average, is normal. And it's like, fine, let's just finally accept it. This is who I am.
Oh, snap. I just thought of something. Are the people who are successful or who have traumatic backstories, like, is that true? Or is it another marketing trick where it's like, I've gathered all the things that we deeply connect to as human beings. Like in terms of story, it's like here's all the things that make me relatable. Here's all the things that make me not any better than anyone else. Here's all the things that make me like at the bottom of the food chain, so that it gives you the context for where I am now. It's like, but it's like on some level, like is that just part of their life the same way that everything else is? Like from their perspective, they just were normal, but they share those things in the because compared to everyone else, the things that make your experience unique, those are the things that are interesting to people. So you share them, but it's like, is that even like a lie? I mean, I know that there are people who have like these like really terrible, traumatic, horrific backstories, but like we also know things like Stockholm syndrome is a thing. We know that people like exist in like abusive relationships for long, long periods of time just because like it's so normalized to them. And then at some point some people have this awareness and they get it. It's like, oh, that was really fucked up. But like I wonder if that like dramatic backdrop is also in some sense like just a perspective illusion. I mean, not to devalue like people's
No, I
experience
understand what you mean.
but it's
In those situations, it's like literally do or die. It's like most people just die, and the equivalent of dying is just like letting those circumstances run your life. Like, you know, David Goggins, before he decided to take control and change his life, and then him after. So it's like there's, I don't know what the percentage is. Let's say like 1% of people in situations like that who use that as fuel to accomplish amazing things. But 99% of people in that situation just let it destroy them. And like we perceive normalcy as a bad thing, but it's like if we embrace that and use that to our advantage, we can get to like 80% very easily because we have that. Whereas people who are in bad situations and overcome everything to get to the 80% seem so much more impressive. But it's like, for us, it's just, we're like, well, this is boring, this is normal, this is easy. Like, why would I do any of this? So we're trying to fight against it when what we should be doing is just embracing it. It's like, all right, let's embrace the fact that guys, let's like, that does give us a slight advantage.
yeah, so it's like
and society tells us like, oh, you know, you shouldn't use advantage of that because all genders should be equal, all races should be equal and everything. It's like, yeah, but it's not. And it's like now that I started traveling, now I'm starting to experience it more. Whereas before in Canada, it's like, you know, society told me my entire life, like, you're privileged because you're a guy, because you're white, because you're straight, because of all these things. And it's like, it kind of makes you feel bad, but you're like, I never benefit from it. So I feel bad, but I don't get anything from it. And now that I'm traveling, I'm realizing like, yes, there are distinct advantages to being a guy, to being white, like all these things. And it's like, all right, why not just use it to our advantage? So like not take advantage of other people, but use what we've been given, this normalcy, to just be successful.
I think there's something here. I think you're right. There's I don't know exactly what, and probably trying to figure it out is the mistake, but just trying to live the life of what is it like to be the normal person that I am. Go ahead.
We see people like David Goggins who have so many disadvantages against them. So it's like, you know, black, grew up in a poor neighborhood, his father was beating him, like he was bad in school and all these things. And he worked so hard to overcome it and become normal. And it's so impressive because of all the things that were standing in his way. And we're like, oh, we see that story and we're like, we want to emulate it. But the thing is, we already have all the things that he had to fight so hard to get.
Mm.
So it's like 80% of his journey is just getting to that normal point. And we're like, we need to do all that work to get there, but it's like, we're already there. We were given that 80% to begin with. So it's like like all that work to get to the 80% mark changed him and gave him the momentum to hit that 20% to like catapult him past all normal people. And that's why we look at it and we're like, whoa, that is so impressive. But for us, it's like we're starting at 80%. So it's like, of course, it's going to take longer and more effort to build up that momentum to get that last 20% because we're 80 rather than starting at 0.
You know what also occurs to me is like his journey of like, you know, people's journey who start somewhere like really at the bottom kind of thing. It's like, what if the you know, it's so this is the hardest, like this is rock bottom for us, for you and me. It's like, what if the journey of being normal, it's like for some people that is the struggle. That is the like the most difficult thing that they will ever experience. And like figuring out how to crack the formula of like how do you get out of the hole that is your life, that just seems like a normal life. And it's like for a huge bunch of people, that is the most difficult thing they will ever experience. And it's for them, compared to the rest of the world, it seems easy. But for those people, it is just as difficult as David Goggins being like, I'm gonna like completely radically shift and change my life. It's like, what if figuring out how to be normal, and then if you know take those skills from like learning how to master being normal, it's like, and then maybe you want to like do something more than that. It's like that could be the most useful thing for like the biggest chunk of, like you were just saying, it's like, how do you carve out a blue ocean? It's like in the middle of the red ocean. It's like you start a whole new category. And it's like, what if that really was our thing? It was like just mastering being normal, because that's what so many people need.
I'm just thinking, like, you know, in business, they're like, you need that customer avatar. Well, it's like a white guy who has like all these basic like default traits that everyone shies away from because it's like it's too normal.
Yeah.
That is our avatar.
Dang, that would be
Normal.
really funny. If you feel like you're the most boring person, like super average, nothing special about you, it's like you're a normal person and you're like, I've never done anything great. You're exactly who we can help.
I just keep coming back to the superhero thing of like, we've been given all these like powers or advantages or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, no, why would I use that? Everyone else has this power too. I want to be unique. I want to create something special. But it's like, yeah, but we keep failing because it's kind of like we're giving the power of flight and we're like, I want to be invisible. So we just ignore the fact that we can fly. We're like, we're trying so hard to be invisible and we keep failing. We're like, why can't I succeed? And people are like, you can fucking fly, you idiot.
Oh snap. I think the problem is because like the environment that we're in, nobody values what we like, what normal is normalized. But if you take if you take normal and you like blow that thing up and you put everybody who's in that normal category somewhere else where that is no longer normal, then all of a sudden, what is normal to you, you just be normal, but it's extraordinary to other people. So it's like we're trying to survive and struggle in an environment where our best is only ever going to be mediocre. Whereas if you shift, like, where are you existing? If you go to an environment where, like, I'm like on my days where I'm sleeping in, and I'm like, I feel like I'm half-assing everything. Everybody is continually like, how do you be you? And you're like, I'm not even trying yet. It's like, I mean, I think that's the problem. Is like we're so dissatisfied with just being ourselves. If we just get comfortable with being ourselves and be that long enough, as we like start going into different environments and shifting around, it's like at some point somebody's gonna be like, do you realize how freaking amazing you are? And you're like, no, tell me more, help me understand what you see. It's like that is the market where we're the most valuable, instead of trying to like, it's like, where's all the money, what is the thing that the market wants? It's like, just accept that like who we are, what we are is like what we're going to be. And then it's like, just be that long enough that at some point you like stumble into, you know, a place where everyone's like, what the fuck is that guy doing? How do I do that?
All right. Something came up. You know how, especially I have been leaning into that. The whole like, there's two paths, and it's like, I choose the hard one just because it makes life more interesting and challenging, and it feels like you're growing. It feels like you're accomplishing something because you're pushing and pushing. And it's like, what if all we have to do to be successful is pick the easy route every single time? Like, what's the easy route? Take advantage of the fact that I'm white, that I'm a guy, that I'm straight, that I'm a good communicator, that all these things. It's like, that seems easy and boring to me, but it's like, yeah, but that's the easiest, like, what's the easiest way to be successful? Find other successful people and partner with them. It's like, well, no, that's too easy. Yeah, but they're going to give you exactly what you, yeah, but no, but it's too easy. I don't want to do that. It's like, but do it. It's like, what if the solution, instead of trying to take the hard route all the time, it's like, let's just take the easy route. Do the lazy, boring, easy, stupid thing.
Yeah. I think there's something to that, is just existing in a space where it's like, this is easy. Because on some level it's like, if it's gonna be hard, it's gotta be something you love. Otherwise you just are creating a bigger, like a higher obstacle for yourself.
That's the thing, like, we like to feel like we have control. So we tend to ignore the universe hands us something. It's like, here, you can be successful. Take this thing. And we're like, oh, I want to do this other thing that's way harder, that's going to yield way less, just because I want to feel in control. So what if the way to success is to just accept all the advantages that the universe is handing us and just take advantage of it? It's like, it's getting to the point where I had this sensation this morning. I wasn't quite sure what it was, but now I think I know what it is. And it's like that sensation of, I'm doing this 30-day like fuck you money challenge, and I'm like, I started off being like, I'm going to do whatever I have to succeed. Well, ironically, what I have to do to succeed is just surrender. Just do what feels right inside. It's like, let the universe provide me with what I need to get the results. It's like, I don't even need to come up with a business strategy. I just need to network with people, and take advantage of whatever opportunity presents itself.
We just need to be like a tree. I wonder how many trees are like, oh, I just need to like grow a little bit faster. Like this is just what I am. So I'm just gonna grow a little bit at a time because that's what I'm supposed to do. And we are always like, oh, what is that one thing that I'm just missing that thing. It's like, no, that's not how it goes. You're everything that you need to be, but as long as you act like you're on the hunt for something else, like that's the experience you're gonna have. It's like, I don't have enough and I want to look for the thing that's gonna solve it.
Okay. You know how it's like human nature to crave both normalcy and safety and cleanness, yet at the same time, we almost choke to death, you know? No, so we both like, we need that stability of like, all right, I'm comfortable, I have all my needs met. But if we stay in that space too long, we become kind of like, restless. We're like, I need something new. So we both need that. But it's like, if we go all out and like, sell everything and like travel the world, it's like you get to a point where it's like, I just want to rent an apartment and be like stable and, quiet for a while. So it's like, I feel like we've always used that drive for adventure and like, new and exciting things. And we're like, all right, let's go build a business in that energy. When it's not. So it's like, instead of using that drive for adventure and hunger and excitement and everything, and be like, all right, that's where we're building our business. We should build our business in the normal, boring life, and then go do exciting, adventurous things that are completely, absolutely pointless and bring no value to our life. And I think that's going to be the key to success.
I think you're right.
So it's like, we can live the most adventurous, exciting life we want, but that portion of our life is always going to be pointless.
Yeah, it's like, it's always going to be vacation. It's like your life doesn't exist in the extraordinary. It's like your life is just your normal life. If you're going to do something that is special, it's like, it doesn't matter. It's a departure from what you really are, which is just normal. But like allowing it to be that different, experience is fine.
Man, I'm just picturing like how my life could be, and it's like, if we get, once we get to the point where we actually build a business at that very center of the boring, normal part of our life, my life could pretty much be like, I spend 2 months working maybe like 1 hour a day and spending the rest of the time just chilling with friends, watching TV, objectively wasting my time. And then after 2 months, I'm like, all right, time to go for a trip, time to have an adventure, time to do something fun. And then I do that. And it's like, it was cool, but it's completely, absolutely, totally pointless. And then I come back to my normal, boring life and I'm like, oh, this feels good. I like it. Let's, work 1 hour per day and watch 9 hours of TV every day. Then after a couple of us, like, I'm bored of this. Let's go do something. And then I go do it. Yeah, that was completely pointless. Then I go back to boring life. And it's like, that's pretty much my ideal life, ironically.
Yeah, I think on some level, like, I just, when I ask myself really what I want, it's like half of what I want is just being able to sit and watch TV if I want to. It's like, am I going out and experiencing the world? No. Am I doing anything productive or building anything? thing that somebody else can use? No. But it's like, I just want to watch TV. And it's like getting to the place where like I'm really genuinely actually okay with that. It's like that's such a struggle, but I think that's part of what I need to get to is like I won't even allow myself to be me. Like
It's
being a
like,
normal
what do you
person.
want to do with your life? Watch TV. Watch a shit ton of TV.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, we keep failing because we try to make business unique, interesting. What if our goal is to make the most boring business that we can?
we help we help boring white guys build boring businesses for boring white people.
The thing is, like, that wording I don't think would work, but that is exactly what 99% of businesses do.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do? Oh, I help boring white guys make even more money doing very little work. So basically, I increase the white stereotype. That's what I do.
That would be hilarious. I help white people fulfill their calling of being the mediocre privileged like whatever. I feel like the bit is played out.
And it's like the whole like training is you don't need to do anything. You're white. That's it. You just need to accept that.
Oh,
that sounds crazy.
but on some level, it's like, what if that was like, what if we got so good at that?
Really, it sounds racist, but it's really not when you think about it, because it's like, okay, would you say that it's racist for a black person to become a professional basketball player because they're tall and athletic? Is that racist? No. So why is it racist for a guy, like a white guy, to just become a fat, rich, boring person? That's what they're made to be. Trying to be something you're not. It's like, if you look at stereotypes, like that's it. White guys is like they're supposed to be boring, rich, and fat. Black people are supposed to be tall, athletic. Asian people, they're supposed to be like very, structured and care about family and are good at kung fu. It's like, okay, they're stereotypes, but they're stereotypes for a reason. So why not just embrace the stereotype?
Yeah. Okay, so I had this funny idea. I was talking to Sarah about the dream that she had, and she's like, I always have these dreams that my teeth are falling. And I was like, I've had recurring dreams that my teeth fall out too. I was like, what if you like what if you had told some mindset coach, like just niche down to that. I help you stop dreaming that your teeth are falling out. But it's like what if your business coaching was literally that? It's like, I help you stop trying to be white. I mean, I help you stop pretending you're not white. Like, just accept that like mediocre for you is going to be way more successful than the average person in the world, and just get over it. Like, stop acting like you need to be like ultra successful, and just let yourself be what you are going to be, and it's going to be like great. People will
what if that was our strategy for success? I'm like, all right, what are all these attributes that I have that I've been fighting against, and how can I embrace them fully? Like, how can I be the whitest person that I can be? How can I be the manliest guy that I can be? So it's like, just, embrace all these things that society have told us, like, oh, well, by being a man, you're privileged, so you need to hold yourself back, so then there's going to be more equality. It's like, why would I do that? Women are better at some things than men. Men are better at some things than women. Why should both genders hold themselves back so everyone is the same? And it's like, white people are better at some things, black people are better at other things, Asian people, and so on and so forth. So it's like, if you're black, do you stop yourself from being good at sports because it's not fair to other races? No. So why should I stop myself from being good at making money and not having to work hard because I'm white?
Oh, dude. I figured out. I'm starting to see just a little bit. Like the thing what we're saying about white people just seem boring. Like there's nothing special about it because we can't see it because we're inside the bubble. But it's like everybody else in the world wants to be what like normal Western civilization is. It's like people dream of coming to America or going, like moving to North America. It's like having the opportunity to work and have what is a normal life here. It's like doing that is like the pinnacle of like life, world's existence. It's like it is, yeah, like the 1% experience. And like we're focused on like, yeah, but how do you be like the actual 1%? But it's like, so what if what we did was instead of focusing on all these like high ticket, like trying to carve out a niche for ourselves, like what if we help people figure out like, so what actually is being normal? Like, how do you do that? It's like, if your dream is to have this lifestyle, it's like, let's help you be really good at what this life is and show you what it's like. And I don't know if you know Joe Nicasio, but he's a friend of mine. He's a coach. He's like, he says he wants to be targeting better people, and it's like I help people all the time, but like the people that I attract for whatever reason, it's like it's people from other countries that don't have any money to pay for stuff.
I just realized. Sorry, I just realized something. Every time we try to come up with a custom avatar, we're like, ooh, visionary entrepreneur who wants to change the world and blah, blah, blah. It's like, we're trying to target who we want to be instead of who we really are. So we should be targeting normal, boring, white people. Because that's what we really are. We don't want to accept it, but that's what we really are. And it's like they always say like your perfect avatar, like your perfect client is you. Like, okay, yeah, it's me. I'm white, I'm a guy, I live in North America, I'm privileged. That's my ideal client.
Yeah, so then what if that was our perfect client and our offer was, we'll help you like stop being overwhelmed, actually become successful, and it's like, and it's gonna cost you $0. And like the method is just actually finally accept what you are and find a place where being who you are is actually valuable. And it's not here, it's not with other people like you. It's so if hundreds of Indian people who can't pay you any money are asking for your help, it's like help them. Figure out like what is one thing that you can do to like help them level up to the next thing. And if that means like actually spending time figuring out what that thing is, that market is the one that's asking you for help. like uh, I'm Filipino. There's so many, Filipino people who want like to immigrate to North America. It's like you don't need to. You have the internet. Like there's now you can do global commerce with the entire world. So you could create financial freedom from where you are and make enough money that you could eventually come here. You don't have to come here to make it, so to speak. It's like,
Yeah,
well,
in fact,
what if the
there's
biggest
always
thing that you could
ways.
do for people like it's like start getting a job as a VA and like practice your English. Learn how to speak the language that the business world speaks so that you come across as professional. It's like if all you did was help VAs uh, clean up their messaging scripts. It's like, what is the things that are so normal to you that's like this is the stupidest boring shit, but it's like you just start amassing this huge following of like hundreds and hundreds of people that you're helping by just being a normal version of you instead of like what is the extraordinary thing that like nobody else is doing. I think it's like what is it that we can already do that people are asking for but we're not seeing them because like we're trying to we're trying to stand out to like more people more.
Sorry, I was thinking because we are talking about like, what are our superpowers? What are the advantages we have? And I'm like, the biggest one that we have is probably the fact that we're white. And I'm like, yeah, white power does not sound good. That sounds very, very bad.
It's funny like in other countries that's almost like a celebrity status. Like if you go to Asia, like if you're tall, if you're white, or even if you're black, like people just want to take their picture with you because it's so unique. And it's like that's not special here, but it is in some places, which is strange, right?
Hold on. Is the trick just being an average, like white North American male? Or is the trick using that and presenting it in a place where it's viewed as something more, so it becomes more valuable? Because if you just embrace the fact that it's like, okay, I'm white, I'm a guy, I live in North America, I have like blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, I'm just a normal person. I don't have any advantage over anyone else. But if I present that in a market where they aspire to become that, then I become way more like impressive because I have all these things that other people want, even though to me it's just normal and I didn't even have to work for it.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it because I mean, think about like every story, every mythology. It's like the hero is set apart and becomes something that we aspire to. Like for instance, I think the best example of this is like that created a real actual following and like belief systems. Like Jesus is this person's like, okay, I'm God. I embody all of these different things that you measure on the scale of like values in terms of what we think of as aspirational, what we want to become. It's like this person is all the way at the top. And so it's like, but that doesn't, if you're around other people who already exist there, it's meaningless. It's like where Christianity has moved the whole world to, it's not special anymore. So nobody cares about Christianity because it has spread so, like all of the paradigms of it. It's like you have to go to like third world countries where people are just like fighting tooth and nail to exist and it's all about themselves. For that to even like make a dent or an impact and be something different. But in Western civilization, that's just become such a fundamental baseline of like us understanding like the whole is actually just as important as the individual, and the individual, it's like there is no difference. And it's like we just take that as such a fundamental truth that's like it's not revolutionary anymore. And so I think that's what it is. Like you have to go somewhere where what you are is aspirational for somebody else. And I think that's the marketing thing. It's like you sell them what they want. It's like if what you are by default is able to like attract millions of people by being creative, it's like, well, that's something that people want. It's like, how do I get in front of millions of people? If you're somebody who's like, well, I've gone through such a shitty life, but like I'm normal because I have like my emotions in control. I have people who support me when I'm going through tough stuff. It's like I have the pieces that allow me to ride this crazy roller coaster without overwhelm, without stress. It's like what are the things that people want, and how do you exist in a place where what is normal for you, or the tools or whatever it is, like that's something that people want.
I just realized something. A friend of mine who's a coach, I met her in the same group that I met you guys. And she has a YouTube channel. I don't know how many subscribers she has now, but like hundreds of thousands. And she's sorry?
No, I was just clearing my throat.
Okay, I thought you said something. She's from Indonesia. And it's like she's living in the US and everything. It's like, even though she's living in the US and her channel in the beginning was in English, it took off when other people from Indonesia started subscribing. And I'm like, why? It's because she's from Indonesia and she made it in the US. She's attained that level that most people in those types of countries aspire to. Yet she's from there, she looks like them, she speaks the same language. So to them, like they can relate and they look at her like, it's kind of like, oh, you became a white person. That's kind of like what's going on in their mind. And so to them, that's why they look up to her. That's why she's successful.
Mm.
It's like, it's not just about being white. So it's like, it's kind of like demonstrating, I'm like you can connect and relate with me, but I've made it to where you want to be and I can show you how. So it's like just
Oh my
being,
gosh, that's amazing.
so it's like we need
Yeah,
to
that makes
find
so
a
much
place where
sense.
people relate to us, yet they still look up to us as an ideal.
Yeah, that makes total sense. It's like you're saying it's like I seem extraordinary to you, but actually I'm exactly like you. And all you have to understand is like you're exactly like me. Understand it to the level that I do so that you can be exactly like where I'm at. Interesting. So it's about being simultaneously extraordinary to your market while also being simultaneously unextraordinary and normal so that you are relatable to that audience and saying, okay, you and I are exactly alike in this way. And when you accept that we're the same, once you embrace that, that's what gets you to here. It's like in your system, your process is just the way that they go through that process of fully turning in the thing that makes you the same into the thing that makes them extraordinary. It's like you're just helping them have the journey that you have had on. I think this is what we're realizing. It's like by trying to be extraordinary, we're pushing away the part of ourselves that is normal. And by not accepting that, it's like we're leaving a hole where it's like you're taking out a rung of the ladder that you need to be there. But it's like if you accept that this is a part of who I am, it's like that's the space where everybody else will relate to you. That's the space where you have a place in common with everything and everybody else to your market. And it's like by just truly owning and embodying that, that's what allows you to ascend up the ladder to it's like the one step that you have to have in order to get to the rest of it. Because the rest of it's there. It's just, you know, it's like wanting to climb to the top of Mount Everest, being like, well, I don't want a tent. Like, I don't need any ropes. I don't want a hammer. It's like, I don't want a jacket. It's like, well, I just want to be at the top of Mount Everest. It's like, well, the way you get there is by having this stuff. It's like, well, but that's not what I want. I just want to have fun at Mount Everest. I want to be the guy that went up to the top. And we're trying to like push away all of these things. That's like the normal thing to do to get to the top of Mount Everest is you have to bring a tent, you have to bring your supplies, you gotta like have climbing gear, stuff that protects from your own. It's like that's a requirement. That's what's normal. And to be the guy that has been up to the top, it's like you have to accept the normal experience of that thing.
I really like what you were saying about like the ladder example. It's like we've had all these rungs ladder. It's like, one rung is the fact that I'm white, one's the fact that I'm a guy, one's the fact that this and that. It's like we're like, no, society tells us that I shouldn't be privileged for having that, so let me remove the rung.
Right.
And then we're like trying to jump up and grab the first rung, but it's too high. We're like, it's not working.
Yeah.
It's like, you idiot, you have all these rungs there, just put them back.
Yeah.
Man. So what if, because I was thinking in my head, like, all right, how can we take the basic average life of a North American and present it in a market where people aspire to become that and teach them how to do that? But it's like, that's not really it, because that doesn't work unless we're like them. Just like, let's say I live in Costa Rica and then I move to the US and, become a normal average American. And I can go back and like, explain to people like, hey, I used to be where you are, now I'm here, you want to become that, let me show you. But just being a white guy was like, hey, I was born here, I grew up here, I'm white. It's like, let me show you how. They're like, no, you don't know how to teach me because you're not like me. So I think what we need to do is just embrace every rung of the ladder, climb up the ladder. And as we climb up, we can tell other normal, boring, stupid people like us, hey, put the rungs back in. Like that's just the process we need to do. So we need to become the smart version of ourselves and tell the stupid version of ourselves, this is what you need to do. You want to pay us to learn how to do it. And of course, by then we might not even need to do that, because maybe the simple act of climbing the ladder is going to be enough by itself.
Yeah.
So it's like we instinctively have the mindset of, oh, how can we help people? How can we build a business? How can we do this and that and the other? It's like, yeah, but what if we don't need to do that? What if all we need to do is just put the rungs back in the ladder and climb up the ladder? It's like, we don't need to show anyone else how to do it, because by then it's like we have everything that we need. And maybe we don't need to show other people. Maybe the whole point of life is to figure that out for yourself. Right? Maybe not, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, what if we just go through this process with no expectation?
Yeah, I think I think you're right. I think that's what it is just continually releasing the expectation of outcome just over and over. It's like, I'm just gonna do this thing because I'm gonna do it. Because it's what, not because like I'm trying to make money on it, not because it's like I want to have that experience. That's just what I'm gonna do right now because that's what I need to do.
This reminds me of, see, it seems like every single time you remove expectations, things just seem to happen very easily. Like as an example, what was it, 2 years ago when I was doing that whole like, hey, my goal is to become the world's best motivational speaker. And it's like I would just talk about it. And I would just
Mhm,
tell stories and provide value and share. And it's like
mhm,
it took maybe 5 minutes a day.
mhm.
So many people reached out and send me friend requests and offered to help. And it's like I connected with so many people who can help pull me up to the level that I wanted to be at as a
Yeah,
result of that. So it's like I think that's the process of ascending the ladder.
yeah,
Once you tell like, hey, I'm putting this ladder together, here's how I'm doing it, and you just climb, there's going to be other people who are up the ladders like, hey, you need a help, like you need a hand, and just like reach down and pull us up.
yeah,
And that's why I think like we don't need to come up with an elaborate strategy or try to create a
mhm,
business. It's like the process of climbing the ladder is going to give us everything that we need.
yeah.
Sorry, if I seem a little distracted, I'm just on the computer because, oh, did I tell you that I'm switching apartments?
Oh, did they offer you a different place or just got
Yeah,
out of
because
the?
if you remember the other day, I found a cockroach on the door and then I found another one and I'm like, I'm just gonna message the guy saying like, hey, I found this, plus, there was the light that didn't work and the stove that didn't work in the beginning and the bed is really uncomfortable. So I just wanted to let you know in advance that I'm gonna be leaving a negative review just because
Mhm.
like I don't want to spring it on him at the end of like I stay here for
Yeah,
a month and leave a bad review without saying anything. So
yeah,
I wasn't expecting anything. He's like, oh, here's like 4 apartments, just like choose whichever
mhm,
one. We'll go over to that and everything. So anyway, all that to say, I'm moving today, and I'm now messaging with him to figure out exactly when I can go to the new place. So
nice.
why I seem distracted. Okay, the translation does not make sense. The translation says, "I'm here now at the yellow door. I'm to order." I don't know what that means. Hold on. Maybe order is like cleaning up the apartment.
Uh,
That would make sense. Okay. But yeah, I think it's as simple as just climbing the ladder.
on set.
I think success is a default part of life. And we just are idiots, so we screw it up. It's like all we need to do is just use the rungs we were given to climb the ladder and just have conversations with the other people around us who are also climbing the ladder. And when we have an issue, we can look at someone who's higher above, it's like, hey, excuse me, how did you get to that point? And they're like, oh, I just did this. Oh, cool, thanks. And then if someone else down below, you see their story, you're like, hey, that's how I got over that. You should try that. Like, I think that like success is as simple as that. And that's why networking is so powerful. And we're like, wait, you have a ladder, it stops here. I have a ladder, it stops here. What if we combine our ladders? We can get even higher together. And it's like, that's, networking for business. Because so many people see networking as, oh, I'm using other people to be successful. It's like, no, it's just you're collaborating, and by working together, you're both more successful. So there's no downside to any of it and for anyone.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, what if the reason why we haven't succeeded is because there's people more successful than us that are higher than us on the ladder. They're reaching down, it's like, hey, take my hand, let me help you up. And we're like, no, I don't want you to help me because I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage of you. They're like, no, I want to help you. We're like, nah, I don't feel right with that. Like, I don't think it's good. It's like, all we need to do is just stop being an idiot and take the hands that are being given to us.
Yeah, I think you're right. I've been thinking this for a while. It's like, I bought so many courses that I'm like, I'm too good to do it this way. Like I can do it smarter and do less work instead of just like if I had spent if I just like actually did the work that they told me to do in every product that I had gotten and like not bought something until I'd finished the last one, it's like I would be so successful by now. Like I would have so many things that everybody who is successful like has in their business because like people are showing you all the stuff they created and giving you all the resources to do it. So I'm like, maybe I just need to like stop. Honestly, I feel like what I need is just instead of talking for like 3 hours every day, it's like, what if the 3 hours is just like, all right, pick one of the courses we're doing and just do all the fucking steps they tell you to do. Just do them. And like after a couple of weeks, like you've gone through this whole course, built a whole thing. It's like, okay, you've gotten that, you created that, and it's like, and then like we're used to living out loud. It's like just do it publicly. It's like, okay, I'm doing this. If anybody wants it, great. If not, I'm just doing this because like I'm an idiot. I need to make myself do this. And then just move on to the next thing and just keep building stuff. And if it's valuable for people, if it's valuable for the market, like it will tell you. But if not, it's like the success might literally just come from we do all the things that we know how to do in entrepreneurship, and it's like, and we're not meant to be entrepreneurs, but it builds the discipline of like that we've refused to have of like just being able to show up and do the thing because you're told you need to do that thing. It's like maybe now we can finally survive in the job and not feel like we want to just kill ourselves. But it's sort of like for whatever reason, like I always look at something like where's the secret sauce? Like where's the magical thing that's gonna like make the work not be there?
The secret is there is no secret.
Yeah.
And we're like, I don't want to live in a world where there is no secret. So I'm going to pretend like I'm just going to keep looking until I find it because there has to be a secret. It's like, secret, nope, there's no secret. Life is boring. Life is easy.
Mm-hmm.
And what you were saying before, like, we should just, go through the course and do everything step by step. It's like, yeah, okay, but why not do the equivalent of that for business? We already have a large portion of the business that we're working on set up. So why not just go through the steps to finish? Because like you have done enough market research, so we have a very good idea of who we can help and how to help them.
Mhm.
We have the outline for the course. We have the outline for the funnel build. We've done what, like 75% of the work?
Mhm.
Just need to do the remaining 25%.
Yeah. So maybe that's what we should do is like, oh, I know what it is. Like this going through the steps. It's like if we weren't us, if we weren't somebody who's like, I know I've been looking at marketing for a long time, or like we're smart enough, like we're able to do like pick whatever we want and we are kind of sort of good at it, like our first, second try. It's like if instead of having this identity of like, I'm so much better than everybody else, it's like, what if we were normal? What if we're like, we don't know what we don't know. And like normal people just have to do what they're told. Normal people have to like follow the steps. And so like if we just accept that that's part of our story too. It's like we just have to do the things. So it's like we have this business idea that's almost built out. It's like, what are the resources that we have access to? It's like showing you exactly what to do. Just do those things because somebody's shown us like this is what every business has to have. This is what makes it boring. This is what makes it work. And just do that.
Yeah, because I feel like we know enough to be able to succeed to some degree. And then it's just a question of performance. It's like we know the steps. It's like, you know, step one funnel is create curiosity, get them to sign up for the webinar. Then the webinar is teaching them the principle, selling them on why they need that specific thing, and then doing the value stack to sell the product at the end. And then on the sales page, it's pretty much just like, you know, cover the basic points again, convince them, overcome every like objection that they may have, like do the stack once more and purchase. And then there's an upsell and then another upsell. And like I don't know if we want to do that in the beginning, we don't necessarily have to, but we could do the email follow-up sequence. Like that's good long-term, but in the beginning, we don't necessarily need it. It's like, it's super simple. We have the script for the webinar, that'll be easy. Like creating every other step is going to be relatively easy. The only thing that we're not super clear on is the VSL. But like I found an article where it's like, hey, these are the points you need to cover. So even if it's not perfect, we can literally just take that, record the VSL using that structure, and that's it.
Does Expert Secrets or Traffic Secrets have any I know he has like the perfect webinar outline in Expert Secrets. Is there like a VSL or like a basic like land page video script from any of those books? I can't remember.
That is the part of the equation that he doesn't go over in details, like the sales page. He goes over the webinar like literally step by step, but it's like the sales page has always been kind of vague. It was like, you know, you cover the basic elements, but it's like the perfect webinar, he breaks it down in a ton of detail. And it's like, if he did that for the sales page, that would be really cool, but I haven't seen that.
Maybe that's because like that's not the part you need to build first. Maybe we just need to have the presentation. It's like do the presentation, do it for real people and get the feedback, and then do it again, and then do it again, and do it again. And it's like we should just follow that formula. I mean, everybody says do your thing, put it in front of people. So if all we did was just reach out to 3 or 4 people every day, it doesn't even have to be a lot. Just like hey, I've got this presentation I'm doing for people. Here's the value, here's the outcome. Would this be valuable for your people? I'd love to do it. And just let's see what the feedback is from your audience, because we're trying to get it in front of as many people that it can help.
And the thing is, like, if we use the perfect webinar structure, we may not even need a sales page. We could just direct them directly to the order page. And on the order page, there's an image of the product. There's a like bullet point list of this is everything you're getting. This is the value. This is the price you pay. There's the guarantee on that. there's testimonials. It's like, do we even need the sales letter?
Yeah, it's sort of like if, I mean, the webinar is the sales page.
Yeah.
It's just, are you refining it enough to where it actually moves people? And then the sales page is like the cliff notes of the webinar, essentially.
Yeah.
So I think that's why you don't really need a training on how to. It's like if you can do a presentation and get people to buy, and if they're not buying, then change your presentation. Like listen to feedback and tweak it so that it's what people want.
And I feel like anything, I feel like the sales letter might lower conversion because it adds an extra step in the middle. The whole point is sell them on the webinar. By the end of the webinar, when you give them the link, you want them to be like, yes, I want to buy this right now. And by inserting that step of like, oh, there's a video that I have to watch. And then just like some people are like, well, I feel the need that I have, like, I feel like I have to read through the entire letter. That just delays things. Whereas like you cover everything in the webinar. And it's just like, here's the link to go sign up, and it sends them directly to the order form. I feel like it might make things easier. So we may not even need a new sales letter.
Yeah.
Ooh. What is the boring white guy equivalent of a funnel?
I just had a really interesting idea. This is a really interesting idea.
I prefer
no,
but okay.
I mean, this is something that like nobody does, and maybe that they don't do it for a reason. Maybe we just need to do what everybody else does first and then try it later with our own thing. But I had the thought, what if you pitched your thing as if it was like joining is as easy as your email address. It's like just put in your email address and you're in. And then like your homework, like part of the onboarding process is go through the sales page and pay. So it's like you're already thinking in terms of like, so the conversion is like you're already getting people to identify with, I'm in this program. And so you add them to the group, like, and then one of the first steps is like, hey, introduce yourself, go to this link and sign up for your, like, actually order your course. It's like, but it's sort of like, we trust you, like we are, I don't know, it's like the people who are all in, it's like the first step is like, pay for your thing. And if you, I don't know.
So you're talking giving them access before they go through the funnel. So it's like step one, you get immediate access. And it's like you're already bought in, even though you didn't pay anything, as you go through the funnel.
Yeah, so yeah, you're already bought in. You already identify yourself as like, I'm in this program. And then it's like, so step one, like your first homework assignment is like, go get your credit card, go sit down. It's going to take you 5-6 minutes to fill up the order form. And it's like, and then I want you to print your certificate of like, I am in this program and sign. I don't know. I have no idea, but it's like, if one of the biggest resistances is like the price for joining something, it's like, if that's what I want, if that's what I'm excited about, it's like, all right, if you want in, like, this is how much it costs, but like, you don't have to even go through our sign up. Like, I have a special exclusive thing. It's like, just put in your email and we'll add you to the group like tomorrow. And then you can, as part of your homework, you'll go through the sales pitch, and we can have like somebody walk you through it if you want help.
Okay, what I think you're describing is the trial approach. Like, we're giving you access to this, and if you don't want to lose access, you have to buy.
Yeah, I think that's essentially what it is. but I've never seen anybody. It's always like, okay, put in your credit card information, but we won't charge you yet. It's sort of like, what if like literally the only resistance to getting in and seeing a better picture of like what it is just tell me if you want in. Want in? It's like, yes. All right, you're in.
I don't know, I like it, but I feel like maybe if you go through that process, once you get to the point where you're like, wait, I have to pay, I thought I got this for free, it seems like it would kind of have a backwards effect of like, I don't know. I'm just imagining myself going through the process, and it's like, if I get in so easily that it's like it gives the impression it's free, then I'm like, wait, why do I have to pay now? Like this was like a scam. You're trying to trick me.
Yeah, I think you'd have to. I mean, you'd have to make it clear. It's like the like it's actually like a paid program and stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's confusing.
I mean, it's an interesting idea. I just don't know. Like you're saying, I think in the beginning, it just makes more sense to focus on what is successful.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, on some level, it's like
the boring white guy equivalent of a funnel.
Yeah,
which is the
webinar
like,
funnel. There's tons of businesses that use the free trial. Like almost every like big brand business has some variation of that.
Yeah,
like,
every subscription
is that. So like if you're running an online business and if you're doing a course or something, it's like what is the way that you do that that's like that makes sense for that model? Because I haven't seen a lot of like coaching courses or programs where they offer free trial and like it's like it hasn't felt like the same kind of, I guess when it's like you get unlimited access to tons of content, it's like, well, let me go and see what content you get access to. Like that makes sense. It's sort of like, I guess, I don't know why I haven't seen the free trial model done successfully where it's like, oh, that clearly makes a lot of sense.
But I mean, it does make sense because it seems like the strategy for, subscriptions is here's a free trial, go check it out for yourself. And if you're satisfied, don't cancel. If you're not satisfied, you can just cancel. Yeah. It seems like you're selling a product. It's like the strategy is here's all the value you're going to get, and you get it for a fraction of the cost. And there's that like intrigue of like, oh, well, what is it exactly?
Yeah.
So it's like one of them is like, well, I mean, they both use FOMO, but in different ways. It's like the trial's like, here's access to everything. If you don't want to lose it, you got to pay. And it's like, here's the promise of everything you're going to get. Here's the price. If you don't get it now, the price is going to go up. And I feel like at this point, people have tried every single different version of, possible strategies out there. And it's like, we don't need to try to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because you're spinning something that spins like a wheel. Yeah, I think that for now, it's like, if we just focus on being the most boring, simple, normal version of ourselves, and for business, I think that's what's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let's make a like webinar registration page that focuses on curiosity, and then create the webinar that sells them on the idea, overcomes their objection, presents the offer, has the value stack, pitches them, and then there's the order form. and the 2 upsells, like simple as that. I think that is literally all we need to get started.
Yeah.
It's like once we have that, then it's just a question of, all right, where do we find audiences? Do we partner with people who have audiences? Do we try to find people one-on-one? Do we try to find affiliates? It's like, there's little point in doing anything until we have that basic funnel set up.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to do research because we need that in order to build a good funnel. But it's like, I don't think there's any point in trying to figure out, oh, well, how do we get clients until we have the funnel?
Yeah. And I don't even think it needs to be that elaborate of a funnel, because I've bought stuff that's literally just the order page. And I mean, that's the people that I follow. They say that's the first thing you should build out. It's like, build the order page, say what it is, what's in it that they're gonna get, and you don't have to have a lot of like sales copy. Just do that, and then if you can get sales off of that, then like keep building up more stuff. But it's like,
well, I think that's the thing. That's the beauty of the webinars. You don't need that sales page. You're just explaining in the story, because like in the webinar, because that's the beauty of a presentation. It's like people are
yeah,
there.
I'm not talking about like a land page with copy. It's like the place where you put in your credit card information. It's like you're buying, a 5-week subscription to 5-minute Facebook groups. You're gonna get a weekly call, 5-minute training videos, and access to it. It's like that page where you literally just put in your order, like having a point of sale place where they can buy it.
I mean, I feel like that could work, but they would have to be very, very warm, like not warm, like hot at that point. Like they'd have to be hot leads.
Well, I mean, if you're doing a webinar, then that's what you point them to.
Oh yeah. But I mean, that's what I meant. Like before I was like, maybe we don't even need the sales letter. Like it's literally opt-in page, webinar, order form. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess tomorrow we should outline the webinar and then just do it.
You know, the funniest thing is the sales page is the one that took the most time and the most effort. And it's the one we're not even using.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're setting this up, I'm gonna need something. So we're gonna need to buy a domain, because it looks super unprofessional if you just have like, the default ClickFunnels URL. So we need to buy that. So we need to figure out like, what is going to be our brand name? Is it like, let's say 5-minute entrepreneur, and we can be like, all right, let's just buy 5minuteentrepreneur.com, and that's the domain. And then in Stripe, I can just set it up as the name of like, when they get charged, they're going to see 5-minute entrepreneur as an example. It's like, if we just decide that, then I can set up the payment and I can set up the website. It's like either way, like even if we decide not to do the website and go like super cheap and like unprofessional, we still need a name for Stripe, because they are going to be charged and a name has to appear there.
Yeah.
And it's like they need to know what it is. It can't be some random crap that they're like, what is this payment?
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't need to be like, we don't need to decide like we're committing to this and we're stuck with this for the next 10 years. It's like, we just need it for now.
Yeah.
What about Two White Guys Incorporated?
2 white guys incorporated. That's funny.
Ooh, 5-minute entrepreneur, 5 ME, 5 me.
Five. I like it. Uh, 5 minutes to freedom.
But it's more like just we need a brand name
Yeah.
and a website. So it's like both of them would be the same. And as long as it's simple, as long as it fits with the course. So it's like if the course is 5-minute Facebook groups and it's like 5-minute entrepreneurs, then if we decide that's our brand, we want to create more courses like this, then we don't need to change or update anything.
Yeah.
Or actually, I'm wondering for the URL, maybe the company name should be like, or company name should be 5-minute entrepreneur as an example, but the URL might should probably be 5-minute Facebook group since that is the course that we're selling.
Mhm. I mean, that seems super clear. And it's got a lot of congruency with what we're doing.
All right, let's see. All right, so which version of it? Because we have multiple different versions we can go with. We can go like all in letters, so like spelled out like FIVE minute Facebook groups, or we can go 5 like the number 5. And then for Facebook, if we want, we can shorten it to FB. So it could be like 5, like number 5 minute FBgroups.com. Or it can even be like an acronym. So it's like 5MFBG or something. Like, I don't know what would be best. Or it should be 5minfbgroups.com. It's like it needs to be like clear so people understand like, okay, this is the product, but at the same time, it's too long, like 5-minute Facebook groups, like it kind of loses the impact.
Yeah.
5MFBG is available. Like it doesn't really say anything about it, so it might be a little weird, but it is very easy to write. Like when you're in the webinar, it's like, all right, just go to 5mfbg.com/order. Like that is super simple.
What if we don't need a URL?
I mean, we don't. It just looks unprofessional if we use the default ClickFunnels one.
Like, is there, because you said something earlier, it's like, what would be the easy way for us to do business? And it sort of feels like how do we do the least amount that like the minimum viable product? Like what's the least amount that will get the job done? And like I think you can set up a payment page on Stripe without having to have it attached to any we literally just like create a product, or they can buy the product. I don't know.
I mean, it makes more sense to have it directly in ClickFunnels because then you can modify the page, you can add elements, you can add like the image for the course and like here's bonus 1, bonus 2 and everything. It's like it makes sense to use it in ClickFunnels. But you're right, we don't need a URL. If we want, we can just use like a link shortener and just have that be the link.
Because it feels like we should just, feels like anything that we do, we should like get a sale first before we spend any money. It's like we need to validate that like we're
for months with ClickFunnels, but I see what you mean.
That's true.
Like
But
maybe you don't spend any money, but I've spent way more money than I should have.
well, I've definitely am in that space as well. It's just in terms of like as we're starting this new venture, it's like maybe we need to do this the way that people say. It's like don't actually build anything or spend any money without like actually having sold something. So anyway, so I guess the plan tomorrow is like let's create an actual place where people can pay for it, and then I'll just start pitching it. Like I'll put together my offer myself, like my little the webinar thing. I did put together a version of the webinar like really loosely based off of Brian's webinar framework, and he said, yeah, the only thing missing is we need to explain like how it works. So what are they actually buying? What is the like, you know, most people are like they talk about the how. It's like I didn't. He's like, that's the one part you actually need. Because you're great at story, you're great at emotions, like, but go show us how it works. So I think I can handle that.
Thing is, we already have the slides for the perfect webinar. We just need to go through and fill it out. That should be relatively easy.
Well, let's do that. Let's make that the like the sprint, like over the next day or two. It's like let's get that thing built out as fast as we can.
Everything else is already there. Like the only thing that we needed to go back in and kind of modify was the sales page. And if we're skipping that step, then we have everything because we have the registration page, we have the webinar confirmation page, we have the order form, the like upsell 1, upsell 2, and confirmation page. Those need very, very little work. Everything's almost already done. We just kind of need to plug in the payment information and the proper links and make sure that everything works, but we don't really need to do any like real work on there. You are frozen. I'm assuming you're shifting to Wi-Fi. Hey, welcome back.
Hey, yeah. So that sounds good.
Oh yeah, we just need to plug in the testimonials on the purchase page. And oh yeah, figure out exactly what the stack is.
Yeah.
We have like basic course and then the live training, but it's like we need at least I'd say 3 bonuses and 1 fast action bonus.
Mhm.
And even if like they're undefined bonuses, we can say, hey, bonus that we're going to create on the back end of this to provide the exact value that you need to build out the business. But as long as we're like,
Mhm.
bonus number 1, this, the brief description, and this is the value. So we can do that offer stack. I think that's good. And then the like one-time offer, like the one-click upsell on the order form, we need to figure out what. Oh, where did that come from?
I'm at the bookstore, but they have a Seinfeld game apparently. That's about nothing.
Nice. I want it. Even though I don't have a TV or a DVD player, but whatever.
So, is the slides for the presentation, is that, can you drop a copy of that in our folder?
Sure, let me do that right now.
Cool. I'll take a look at that tonight and see what I need to start
Yeah, what I'm
filling
gonna
that
do
stuff with.
today is go into Stripe and update the settings so that it's gonna be like the payment is gonna come up as 5-minute entrepreneur.
Cool.
And then if ever we want to go back in later and change it, we can. I won't purchase the domain if we want. For now, we can just use like tiny URL and whatever and put like, whatever makes sense for that.
Mhm.
And just use that in the beginning. And then, if we make a sale, we just go back in, like, all right, let's purchase a domain, plug it in. And next time we do this, we'll have that.
Sweet.
And then tomorrow, if you want, we can go through the funnel and just kind of like tweak things. So it's like, all right, what is the wording we want to use? What is the structure? Like, what's the strategy? Do we want to offer like, we want to word as a scholarship? How do we want to word that exactly? And figure out,
Mhm.
we need like this video, we need that video, we need this video, and just kind of like come up with a basic script for all the things.
Yeah.
And then we can just kind of like go in step by step and just plug everything in.
Mhm. Cool.
By the way, at some point, we're going to need a better picture of you because all the ones you have, like a lot of them are cut off.
Mhm.
So it's like, there's the great one, the one that I have right now on the opt-in page is really good, except the edge of your arm is cut off.
All right. I'll see if I can get some new pictures this week.
So
Let me put that on my calendar.
let me send you the link for this so you can see like the kind of picture. Like you don't have to look at it now, it's just that way you'll have it. Yeah, the picture that I used on this registration page for now, like something like that would be good. Except without the arm cut off. So kind of like, mid body. So like waist and up, just like smiling with ideally like a even background so that I can easily remove it and it doesn't look weird. It's like if we have a couple of different poses with that, I think we can use them like for pretty much everything that we need. Like for
Gotcha.
now, even if the edge is cut off, like whatever, it still looks professional enough that we can keep this image.
Mhm.
But it's just as we go on in business, like we're definitely going to need better images than that. So
Yeah.
all right, so I think we're. Oh yeah, hold on. I just wanted to put the webinar thing in the 5 minutes Facebook group. Upload business 5 minutes Facebook group. Perfect webinar. There we go. 1 minute left. Less than a minute left. It'd be so funny if we just like, I don't know, find one person to promote this, like as an example, Brian, and he promotes it and we make like 10 sales. And we're like, crap, we just made $10,000. Well, 5,000 if he made 50%, but oh yeah, that's the other thing I need to look into. How do you set up the affiliate thing? seems relatively
Mhm.
but I'm going to look into that. All right, so
Yeah.
I uploaded a PowerPoint presentation to the group or to their Google Drive, so you can check it out whenever you want.
Mhm. Cool. I'll look at that tonight. All right. Well, I guess I better get going. I'm gonna do some grocery shopping. But
All right.
I feel like this is, I mean, where I'm at now is like, yes, like I'm enjoying and I'm excited about like where we go with this, but like even if it doesn't do anything, it's like I can be normal. And if that means like we try this, and after a couple months we're like, yeah, we're still not getting anywhere. It's like, that's okay. It's like it doesn't have to be this like swing for the fences, everything's riding on this. It's like we're just doing this because we would do this anyway, honestly.
Yeah. And
And if that's normal for us, that's cool.
it's funny because I like there's a page that I saved opt in for a webinar from Russell Brunson. It's like at the top, the very top, the first thing you see is this free web class is for entrepreneurs, small business owners, online marketers, and marketing agencies. It's like our version would be this free web class is for normal people who want to become successful entrepreneurs.
I love it.
All right, I'm gonna let you go order stuff. This has
Alrighty.
been a fun conversation as usual, but fun in a normal kind of way.
Yeah. Nothing interesting. Just normal.
Definitely. All right, well,
We'll see you
enjoy
later,
your
man.
boring.
You too. Bye.